Hey, my name is Ryan with Yushu, and today I'm doing a initial review on my Thursday boot Brawler boots. These boots are made famous because they are a collaboration with Carl Morawski, who is just one of the original boot and menswear reviewers on YouTube. A lot of respect. He's an awesome guy, and he usually puts his name behind awesome products. So we're going to take a deep dive into this boot. We're going to see what it compares to. We're going to look at each component that's put into it and the different leathers it comes with. And we're going to see if this is really a good value or just kind of a knockoff of the Viberg 310 boot. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please enjoy. So to start off, I just want to say, please go to the unboxing if you want to have my opinion on the sizing of the boots. I'm not going to talk about that in this video. That is in the initial unboxing. But right now, we're just going to go over the initial impressions, the quality control, and kind of talk about the components that are in this boot. So first of all, it's not a perfect boot. This Wicked and Craig veg tan leather, does have some flaws. There was some bumps and scrapes in the lasting of the boot. That's not a huge deal to me. I still think it's really nice. I think the heel is sanded really nice. I think the sole is stitched really nice. All the stitches are really great. The welt stitching is really good, which is really important on a stitch-down construction boot like this because you will have problems if this is sanded too close to the edge, especially when you go to resole the boot in the future. And I do think you'll get several resoles out of this boot because it is built really well. This boot is not a gusseted boot. Thursday has a problem when they built their new line of boots that are gusseted. They have a weeping hole at the bottom, and so it really doesn't help that much. Now, a gusseted boot is there for two reasons. It's there to keep water out, and it's there to keep the tongue upright. With the other Thursday boots, it does keep the tongue upright. It just doesn't keep it waterproof. For people who are using this for work, that is going to be, a deal breaker because it's not a waterproof boot. We're going to look at this through the eyes of someone who is not using this for work, but is just using this as a cool casual boot to wear around town. So first, let's go over some specs of the Brawler boot. Now it's $325 for this, and this is their black label. This is a premium leather. And speaking of the leather, let's talk about what Thursday has to say about this leather. Now, I believe all Wicked and Craig leather is veg tanned. There's nothing on Thursday's website that says this is veg tan leather, but I think that's all they do. So I'm assuming this is a veg tan leather. But Thursday says that this is a 5 to 6 ounce harness leather from the Wicked and Craig Tannery in Pennsylvania, USA. And about this leather, they say it's a durable, high quality leather that is made from thick cowhide and treated with oils and waxes to enhance its strength and weather resistance. Harness leather pairs its durability with a smooth, glossy finish that makes it ideal for heavy duty applications like saddlery and footwear. Love for its longevity, harness leather develops a rich patina over time that makes it more beautiful with everyday wear. And this leather is a 10 out of 10. I mean, while it's not perfect, it's not the best clicked boot that you'll ever see. It is just a amazing leather. It smells great, and it's just going to age beautifully over time. So everything is good there. Now with the specs of the boot, we'll jump into this a little bit more when we jump online and look at their cutaway picture of the boot. But what they have to say about the Brawler is that it's designed in collaboration with Carl Morawski to flip the script on the refined, accessible lash shapes we are known for by bringing the Thursday ethos to a boot with one of the beefiest toe shapes on the market. The Brawler is a no-nonsense gritty fighter built to hold its ground even in the toughest conditions. A tribute to a classic Americana work boots, it features a roomy reinforced toe box, stitched down construction, and an unmistakable silhouette. It's a Viberg 310 knockoff, but not as refined. Okay, sorry. I'll get back to the press info. And this is not a sponsored video. I purchased these with my own money, so I can make fun of them if I want to. So it says equipped with glove leather lining, full vachetta leather insoles, leather shank and counters, a star fit heel pads, and night anti-slip durable rubber outsoles. The Brawler is built to last. And one thing I will say, the outsole and the heel pad look really nice. Looks like there's a lot of good grip. They've done a great job with making this boot. I think it's going to last a long time, and it's not going to give you any problems. I think the thickness of the heel pad is also great. How it's sanded is really good. You really get a nice curve here, nice bending that's going to lock in your heel, but it just looks really pretty. As for the toe shape, A lot is said about the toe shape because that's what this boot is all about. Carl Morowski does a great video kind of explaining how they developed this toe shape and all the iterations that it took on as they were collaborating to make this boot. The website photos make it look a little bit more chiseled and hard lined. It's a little bit softer in real life, if that makes sense. And I'm a little bit disappointed about that, to be honest with you. That's just one thing that's, I don't know. I don't know if they're just catching it at the right lights, but in person, it's just a little bit more of a bulbous toe instead of like kind of like a refined bulbous toe, if that makes any sense. That kind of sounds stupid coming out of my mouth, but a lot of things sound stupid coming out of my mouth when I'm doing these videos. And you guys still watch, so you are awesome, and I appreciate it. But let's talk about the main problem with these boots real quick, and that's going to be with how they're built on this slant, right? So it's built on this slant, and more will be exposed in the cut in half photo in just a second. But this is an issue where you have this built on the slant, but then you have this bump toe. So what people have said is that their feet only make contact with their heel and then the ball, and they don't have any arch support. It's almost like it just kind of dies for the arch support. So what I noticed is I don't have the strongest arches, and for what I do, which is mainly just walk around, it's okay. It could have better arches. It really could. But for the average guy, I think it's going to be okay. It's just more of an aesthetic look that kind of slides you forward. It just looks like it's sliding. If this were flatter and then it kind of died down like whites or nicks, I think that would look a little bit better. Right now, it's just this slant. I've seen pictures of a wedge that's put on this, like kind of superimposed on the picture, and people talking about that's what it looks like to them. So it is more of an aesthetic look, I think, for wearing it. If you're wearing this as like a work boot, I do think if you don't have strong arches, you're not going to like it for a long time. It's not going to be comfortable for a long time. If you really need built up arches, don't buy this boot. This isn't the boot for you. This is the boot for you to wear to look like it, to look like you have some crazy overbuilt boot, but kind of deep down inside, it's more of a flat and a little bit more of a dead space here under your arch. So that's going to be a huge deal breaker to some, and just don't even buy it if that's a question that you have. But if that's not a big deal, you're just going for the aesthetic of it, for the look of it, and you're not going to really work in it. I mean, if you have strong arches, you absolutely could work in this boot. That's not what I'm saying. It's just I have noticed that for my foot, it's okay. It's not the best, but it's definitely okay for what I'll be using this for. This gives you that inexpensive Viber 310 knockoff look, and it's just not going to have the support that you're going to get with the Viberg, but I don't think you really expected that. So let's jump online, look at the different leather options that you can get this in, because that's going to change the look of this boot dramatically, and we'll look at their cut in half to really see what goes into it. Here's the website. Thursday has a great website. One of the things that makes Thursday so good, and I've talked about this a ton, is going to be the free shipping and free returns in the US. That's going to be a huge thing for people that really need to kind of dial in their right size. So this is the medium brown harness leather from Wicked and Craig that I have been reviewing. It also comes in this bronze brown rambler leather, and this is from the CF Stead Tannery. Cinnamon wax flesh from the Horween Tannery. And lastly, black natural T-core leather. And this is from the Merriam Tannery in Italy. This black natural T-core leather is super popular, I've heard. So they have it in stock right now, but it might be out of stock by the time I post this. I think this is the most popular leather that the boot came in. So let's see what these boots look like now cut in half. I really appreciate how Thursday releases these boots with these cut in halves on the website. So it helps you to see what you're really getting. So if we start from the bottom, we have this awesome leather heel stack. Now this is the culprit to one of the problems that people have with the boot, that it is a wedge, but you can't discredit that it is high quality ingredients or high quality leather that's put in there for that heel stack. You have that leather sole that has the half sole rubber half sole, and then the lasting board or that insole, which again is a thick piece of Edgetown leather with a leather shank. So you have a ton of leather. How many times I just say leather? I'm going to be saying leather a ton here. I'm sorry, guys. It's just you're dealing with me, and I appreciate it. You have a leather heel counter here, which isn't the thickest. Again, this is not a work boot, in my opinion. This is a casual boot. And you have a leather toe stiffener or a toe puff, which is super nice. Not a lot of $300 shoes have a real veg tan leather toe puff, so that is gonna be good. That's gonna keep its structure there, but it's also going to break down a little bit more as you break it in, and that's gonna give it a more unique to you look and just make it maybe a little bit more comfortable. You have their glove-lined leather insole, which is, glued in there. It's a permanent insole, and that looks like a chrome tan leather when everything else that the shoe is made with, at least on the bottom, is a veg tan leather. So that just gives you more comfort. And it does feel like there is foam underneath it. So I don't see it there, but maybe that's just because that's that chrome tan leather. You have a rough out internal heel counter that just helps you lock in the boot a little bit more. You do not have a gusseted tongue, but you have that nice glove like leather liner and then a fabric pull tab, which I'm actually a super big fan of the fabric pull tab because it doesn't get caught up in my jeans. I cannot stand when the leather pull tabs get caught up in your jeans because I'll be sitting down and then I'll stand up and I don't know, it just makes me look ridiculous. And of course, I'm being over dramatic like I often am just to get a rise out of you, my wonderful viewers. But this is the main problem, right? So how it's lasted, you have this kind of bump up here, then you have this slide down here into this sprung toe, and what you have here is just not a ton of arch support. So that should come up a little bit more to support your arches, especially if you wanted to use this as a work boot. So depending on how your foot sits in the boot, if your heel sits back here, then you have almost what seems like a void. Now my heel naturally kind of sat right here, so it wasn't as bad, but I think some people's heels sit farther back and you're thinking, Ryan, a heel is a heel, foots are the same, but every foot is so different. That's why I think I'm going to stop doing my sizing advice because your 13D on the Brannick will be completely different from my 13D on the Brannick. Even though it's the same foot size, there could be so much differences with your foot shape. But I'm just telling you, people have had problems because of the arch support here. Mine, it wasn't a huge deal, but I don't recommend it if you're going to want to work in it all day. So this has been my breakdown of the Brawler boot, what you get for that price point. Now let me give you my synopsis and if I think it's worth the money. So what is my final opinion of the Brawler boots? It's definitely not perfect, but it's pretty good. First of all, the leather that you get with it, the Wicked and Craig leather, this veg tan leather is super awesome. It's going to patina really well over time, and I think you can't go wrong with Wicked and Craig USA tan leather. I feel like it's built really well. Now, people who have the problems with the arch support, that's going to be a game changer for you. So you're going to need to know that on your own. But if that's not a big deal or you have pretty strong arches, I think this is a fantastic deal. I mean, 325 for what you get with this is not nearly as good as the Viberg 310. It isn't. That boot is now $1,000 shipped to your door in the United States. But for 325, you're getting a ton of boot with a ton of leather, a boot that's going to last a long time, and a boot that I think you will enjoy if you enjoy this style of a boot. And quite frankly, there's just not a lot to choose from with this style of a boot. This bump toe, this bulbous toe, a little bit more of a chiseled toe. It is a rare find. And if you want that, but you can't afford the Viberg, you're going to love it. And I think you'll have it for a long time. So all in all, I think it's a great boot. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please let me know if you have any questions about the video. The other thing I want to ask is if you've been following me on YouTube, please now follow me on Instagram. So I have a relatively new Instagram account. Please jump over there because that kind of helps me, helps the brands that I've been reviewing to know that I'm serious about reviewing boots because I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy doing it for you guys. So following me on Instagram just kind of helps build the U shoe business. Again, please let me know if you have any questions and I will see you on the next one.